All right, just a quick little short video for you all today. I kind of want to show you the difference, me going from 4 steps to 5 steps, and what it does for me. Now for me, what I noticed, and the reason I even went to 4 steps, was to get my swing under control. I had a little bit of a loop in it, so I wanted to bring my swing down just a little bit, not be so high, and get everything under control and get my balance a little bit better. So I did that. So I'll give you an example here. This is my 4-step approach. Okay, still fairly high of a swing, but it's not ridiculous, right? Now when I go to 5 steps, I'm gonna stand in the same spot, do the same thing. Maybe I'll lay it over for you so you guys can see the difference between the two. My swing goes up a half a the size of a ball, just a little bit. And I'll explain why I'm going from 4 to 5, back to 5 now, here in a minute. All right, so like I explained to you, I said I went from 5 to 4, so that way I had this weird little thing where I would swing it up and it would get so high to where it would loop, I'd pull it back down and then back around again. So it was a weird little loop that I had to get rid of. Once I went to 4 steps, it kind of did that. So it actually brought the swing down, so then I could just go from here and just drop it back inside. With 5, and the reason I'm going from 4 back to 5 after about 6 months of doing 4-step is because in competition, I feel like my feet get way too fast. I get a little ahead of myself, I amp it up just a little bit, and that's what's causing my inconsistency at the bottom of the swing. So I'm not as good at the line as what I could be. You guys can sit here and you'll watch me practice. I'll take video during practice session at the tournaments and everything will be good. Balance is good. And then all of a sudden, if I get a little anxious, a little amped up, and I start going and I get that ball out in front of me a little bit too quick, now my feet are a little too fast, everything gets out of whack, I'm to the line too quick and I'm falling off every single shot. If I give myself that extra step to where I have it's like a timing step basically, just to get my tempo working right, it can be 1, and then I can get it into the step and I can be nice and slow. I have a little bit of time to think about it, to process. It gives me that little bit of, I'll call it my anxious step. That's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna give it the anxious step. So that way when I get too amped up, like in the beginning of blocks, you know, I can always just have that anxious step to slow me down a little bit and get my feet under me. I've always had issues at tournaments, or as of the last 6 months, once we turn the lights on. It takes me a game and a half to get my feet under me and doing the right thing. And then sometimes I even have events where I never get my feet doing the right thing. I'm amped up the entire time, and that's what happened to me at multiple PTQs. And I've tried thinking like, okay, maybe it's the coffee I have in the morning. Maybe it's if I have an energy drink. Maybe I don't need to take my allergy pill, because my allergy pill sometimes will, you know, mess with my head a little bit. Like, I'm thinking it's got to be all of these things. Like, what is it? Well, I've bowled tournaments where I didn't do any of those things, where I didn't have coffee, I didn't have energy drink, I didn't take my allergy pill. All it did was just make me tired, but yet my feet still got all antsy, and the event got so, you know, I deal with it just as much as the rest of you guys. When you get to a tournament, you get a little, it's not necessarily nerves, it's more, let's go, like I'm ready to rock, you know, and you can't get yourself settled in, and you know, you're a little jittery, and it is what it is. That's what happens in competition. So I have to take a step back, for me, literally, and take that 5th step again, where I used to be in 5 steps. Now it does, as you saw on the layover, if I did that, maybe I didn't, I don't know, I'll tell you in a minute. You can see the ball on a 5-step approach just a little bit higher in my swing. As you saw, the swing got just that much higher in my swing, and it's because now you're creating just that little bit more momentum that creates the swing getting a little bit higher. So if you are a 4-step bowler and maybe you get antsy before league or at a tournament or something, might consider working on a 5-step approach just to give you that extra, what I call the anxiety step. We're gonna get the footwork under control and get the anxiety out of you after that 1st step. So it's just boom, and there we go. So we can get the tempo. And I know everybody's saying, well, it should be the same. Well, for some reason, it makes my body feel different. When I'm in 4-step and I know I got to get everything moving, you know, you guys ever watch me, you see me, I'm kind of creeping, and I'm always creeping, and I'm always creeping, and then when I finally feel right, I go. It's a lot easier with 5 steps than it is with 4, because I can creep, now I have that extra step to bring in that extra creep, that extra little creep forward. That, for me, makes all the difference in the world. So I'm committing to this for the next 2 weeks leading up to the Masters to go to 5 steps. But I will always have 4 steps in my bag, in my arsenal, if I get to a place where the approaches are, you know, whatever, where the approaches are real short. If I'm trying to get in front of the ball return and I need a 4-step approach instead of a 3-step, like these ones right here is perfect for 4-step rather than 5 or rather than 3 in front. So I don't know. That's me rambling a little bit about 4-step to 5-step. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, oh well, drop me a comment and we'll see you guys later. Thanks.